So what does it mean to be out here for you? Like what?
It means a lot. It means a lot because first of all, we're keeping the game alive. We're encouraging these young kids to come out here and have this experience. But on top of that, now they have an opportunity to work with some of our rookies. And I mean, what a huge experience. They can say, hey, you know what? Once upon a time in my lifetime, I had an opportunity to work with some professional football players and learn some important instruction. So I think that's huge. And what a great opportunity just to share and an experience to have just for the rest of their lives.
How's the offseason going?
Well, I'm glad you asked because we've been going through our OTAs, our phase 2 portion of it. Been doing some installs and obviously getting some work out on the field. The guys have done a heck of a job. I think they're doing a great job of learning, but on top of that, they're doing a heck of a job of going out there and executing what I expect them to do. It's been fun. There's a good group of men. On top of that, they've been working their tails off, so I'm excited about the next phase.
You kind of mentioned this in your presser about the difference in not just practicing, a system you're familiar with, but you come here and now you're installing it and teaching it to coaches and players.
Mm-hmm.
Just how much different is that for you? Just kind of starting over in that regard.
You know what? It's different, and I'll say this, and hopefully this doesn't get taken the wrong way, because when you've been in a place for 10 years, you have a tendency to take certain things for granted. And so what this has done, it's helped me to go back and dot all the I's and cross all the T's and making sure that I'm giving the proper instruction and not just taking anything for granted because I knew such and such coach would be able to explain this or be able to take the time to go over this detail in this particular meeting. So my goal is to make sure that I'm giving all the instruction and making sure these guys are tooled and ready. All right. So if any question come up, now they can have that answer. All right. So the biggest thing is just making sure that everybody has a complete understanding. And if they don't have an understanding, it's my job to make sure that I give them the answer.
Has it energized you?
Oh yes. Oh yes. I mean, I'm fired up and excited. I'm always fired up and excited, but it's given me a whole new outlook. Just observing and then studying. Not just studying our plays and what we do, but how our guys are going to fit in the system. And I think that's important.
One of the questions, of course, is just like, what is an Eric Bieniemy system? Does going through this process help you, even for you to define exactly what it's going to be here?
Well, there is a system, but the thing is, I want to make sure the system can work with the players that we have. And so at the end of the day, it's not about quote unquote the system. It's about what the players can do and how well they can do it and helping us to get across that finish line. But when it's all said and done with, yes, we will throw it and we're going to run it just like every other team. But when it's all said and done with, we're going to play great team ball to find a way to making sure that we're giving ourselves the best opportunity to be the best that we can be.
When you're installing something, what's maybe the biggest challenge especially when you have some young quarterback like Sam? What's the biggest challenge when you're installing?
I don't think there's any challenge when you're installing. That's why you have other coaches as well. You have assistant coaches because now they can, what you didn't detail, they can go into detail, making sure that they're covering all the little aspects of the things that may not have gotten covered or understood in that particular moment. But at the end of the day, the thing that I enjoy is just the instructional aspect of it, being the teacher again, making sure that I'm giving all the proper details and giving these guys answers that they may need moving forward.
You talk about tailoring it to your players. How do you go about that? Like, how much is there, sort of trial and error?
There's a lot of trial and error because you don't know what you don't know until you go out there and see guys do it. And so at the end of the day, you want to give all these guys the opportunity to show what they can do. But then you just learn and study your peers. You learn to study the talent that you have, and you see how they improvise and adjust and how they adapt to all the nuances of what we expect them to do. So that's the fun part about this. So we're all growing together. But like I said, these guys they've been into it. They've been working their tails off. They're excited. I mean, they sit quietly in the room. I mean, it's like being at kindergarten teacher, teaching young kids again how to go about their business and handle their day. But these guys they've been doing good, and I'm excited about what we're doing moving forward.
What's your early impression of Sam?
Sam's done a heck of a job. Sam's very professional. He's very critical of self. He's very self-aware. But on top of that, he's talented. Okay? He wants to be the very best that he can be. And when it's all said and done with, he just want to do whatever he can to help this team to grow in the right direction.
How about Jacoby?
Jacoby is the ultimate professional. He's been around this business for a long time. He's been a great addition in that room just from the experience that he's had. And on top of that, he can share that experience with the men in that room.
You guys added a few rookies. You got a few offensive pieces in the draft. What are your initial thoughts on some of those guys?
You can't get enough offensive linemen. So anytime you have offensive linemen that you can add and develop, because if you don't develop them, it's going to cost you. So you might as well get some pieces that can come in there and contribute. Both those guys are doing a heck of a job, and I'm fired up and excited. And on top of that, we got the young runner. I think the young runner's done a heck of a job so far. Obviously, he's been here for a week, so these guys are finding their way, fitting in with the nucleus of the groups, and so our young coaches are doing a heck of a job of getting these guys going.
What did you like about Chris Rodriguez?
He plays hard. He runs hard. He's a player that has good hands. You know, he does a lot of things good. At the end of the day, when you're coaching that position, you want the best football players who happen to play the running back position. So he's one of those guys that brings a different element. Not so much that all the other guys are not different, but he can run it, he can catch it, but on top of that, he can protect the quarterback when asked to.
You got 3 pretty big backs. Was that intended to get size there?
Well, normally big bodies can move people, right? So you love when those big bodies can go out there and change the outlook on the game and make those guys make business decisions, you know, in the open field throughout the course of the game. I'm talking about secondary defenders. But these guys, they're all big, but yes, they all bring something different to the table. But I will say this, okay? They all have that temperament that they got to be the best football player. Just because Brian has displayed that he can run it physically, he's also a kid that can go out on the perimeter and make catches. He's also proven that he has great hands, and on top of that, he's willing to protect the quarterback, such as AG. So I'm excited about what everybody brings to the table. And these guys get it, they understand it, they're into it. And now it's time to keep implementing and moving forward to see what happens once we get to opening day.
We saw it, rookie mini camp, you know, the Eric Bieniemy impact about, you know, like getting on guys, the demanding all that, getting guys in the huddle, etc. What do you think the impact of that already has been? Can you see maybe an impact of just how you try to develop them on the field?
I don't know if it's an impact, but the thing I always stress is that I want us to have a sense of urgency and a sense of purpose. So getting out of the huddle is probably the most important thing as an offense because you're setting the tone to the defense. So I'm always critical of that. And then on top of that, I just want us to go out there and execute our job with greater attention to details, but on that, there's some intent and purpose behind it. So if we're playing hard, fast, giving ourselves, I know mistakes are going to be made. Okay? But that's okay. We'll coach it up in the film room. But if we're out there playing with an intent and a purpose and we have a sense of urgency, we're giving ourselves a chance.
Obviously, there's always competition on the offensive line or any position. But when you kind of tailor your plan for that group, how do you see that group right now? Do you feel like there's a 5-player kind of lineup you have, or is there a lot more competition than we might think?
Well, first of all, Coach Travell Warden is doing a hell of a job with those guys. Obviously, he's been assisted with Juan Castillo and also Shane Todd, but he's doing a hell of a job. Those guys are doing all the little things the right way. I love the intensity that he's bringing to that meeting room, but also the instruction that he's giving these guys to just get them to working on the fundamentals of playing the offensive line position. So right now, that process with that group, it's all about development. He's a former player that did it for 10 years at a high level. So he's doing a great job of instructing these guys. And I know right now we just got to keep the process going in the right way. And he's doing a great job with that.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.